folks, welcome back to Matrix Uploaded. We're continuing with profit, loss, break-even, expenses, and income. These are so critical when you start a business. And you know what often happens, people? You know, people start businesses and then in the first year they don't make money. They're not scoring. They've got so many overheads and expenses and they get depressed. They're thinking, when are we gonna survive? When are we gonna make money? But if they hang in there, what happens is in the beginning of any business, what is going to happen is that the expenses will be more than your income. And as you start making the products and set it, you hit break even where your income equals your expenses. And that's a good place to be, because now after that, what can happen is that the business can start generating a lot more income. And then, of course, the expenses will be less. Now, let's have a look at another example. Maxine is a passionate She's really a passionate entrepreneur, and what she's going to do is she's going to make biscuits shaped like animals, and she loves animals, so she's going to build a business around making biscuits. Her fixed cost is obviously 150 Rand. That obviously, if a fixed cost, if you look at the cost of, you know, making those things, okay, maybe she's gonna go to a kitchen and she's gonna have to hire some facilities or whatever, so she needs to do that. Her fixed cost is 150 Rand, hold on to that, and she's calculated that each biscuit costs her 75 cents to make. Now that's obvious because there's ingredients. You've got to have baking powder and flour and all that kind of thing to make the biscuits. Okay, obviously a fixed cost can be anything like, you know, the electricity that's or hiring a kitchen. That's kind of a fixed cost. Okay, now have a look here. She sells them for 1 Rand each. Okay, now let's look at the first question. Okay, but before we do that, let me just quickly show you something here. Her expenses equation is, okay, the cost, 150 Rand, that's her fixed costs, plus 0.75, that's 75 cents times the number of biscuits made. That would be her expense equation. And if we think about that, we always abbreviate this. We say C for cost is 150 plus 0.5 or 75 times B, okay, for biscuits. Okay, we need that's that equation. Okay, now what's the first question going to be? Determine the equation for Maxine's income. Well, very easy. Her income, she sells each biscuit for 1 Rand. So it's 1 Rand times the number of biscuits sold, which would, of course, if we abbreviate it, we could say I is equal to 1B. Okay, now we've got the expenses equation, her costs, and her income. Okay, now what would be the next question? How many biscuits must Maxine sell to break even? Very, very important, because that's the first goal in any business, to break even. Okay, now check this out. Well, the income is equal to expenses. Now we know that the income was 1 times B. And we know that the expenses would be 150 plus 0.75B. We did that. Now, all you got to do is bring that 0.75 to the left, subtract it from 1, and we get 0.25B is equal to 150. Now check it out. If we do this in a calculator and we divide both sides, what do we get? We get B is equal to 600. She must sell 600 biscuits in order to break even. That's very, very important. Okay. Now, a lot of this you can actually represent graphically if you like as well. If we were to draw the graphs, let's have a look what's happening. Okay, 600 biscuits there. And we can draw the graphs, but before we do that, let's have a look. How much profit will she make? How much profit will Maxine make if she sells 2,000 biscuits? Okay, profit is income minus expenses. Okay, which of course she sells it for 1 Rand per biscuit, 2,000. The expenses would be her fixed expenses plus 0.25 times 2,000. Okay, which is 1650. So of course now her profit is 2,000 minus 16. She makes a profit of 350 Rand. And that is really, really seriously great, because her business is doing well. Firstly, in the beginning, from 0 to 600 biscuits, no profit. She's the expenses are too high. Hits break even at 600 biscuits, and thereafter she starts making a profit, and hopefully the business will boom into a really nice business. So guys, don't go away. We'll be back for more wonderful mathematical literacy.